guys. So, Amir Khan returns to training in December. I hope AK makes a return, like I've been saying for years, rematches Danny Garcia. So, Amir Khan, let's just go to his Twitter, announced that, let's just take a look, see. First of all, let's give you a few updates on Amir Khan, right? Okay, so, Amir Khan, right, recently tweeted, training going great, big announcement soon. Hande's recovering well, can't wait to be back in the ring soon. Yes, boxing ring. Want to be back training in December 2016, fight around March/April 2017. See some people. Right, Slim Shady is my boy right here. You need to invoke your WBC mandatory status before you lose it. You mouthed off about Brook all your career, get that fight done. You don't fight enough to say relevant. Kell Brook beats you inside 12. Only if Kell beats the towel this time. Imagine your potential. Still Kell Brook being talked about there. Imagine your potential if you went to training from tomorrow, didn't just do training camps pre-fights. I think that this is a really interesting comment right here, because at the end of the day, right, I don't feel that Amir Khan has reached his potential in boxing. I think that he's recently got rid of Saj Muhammad. I'm not going to talk about that, but he tweeted, where's it gone? Don't know where it's gone, but he tweeted yesterday that that I think he's having a change up in his team, and I'm not going to say anything negative about Saj, but he's gotten rid of Saj, who's, for those of you who don't know, Saj is has been with Amir from day one, and for me, look, man, I think that Amir Khan's been steered in the wrong direction from day one. Okay, I'm not blaming Saj, or I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying that Amir Khan has not reached his potential in boxing, and I feel that if he had been around a better crowd, with a more dedicated attitude, taken smarter fights at the right time, and kept himself committed and dedicated to the sport of boxing, he could have been a real force in boxing, where he could have not taken certain losses, which he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have taken a loss to Danny Garcia. He should have been on the back foot boxing, and that's because Freddie Roach wasn't. And these excuses are excuses, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's true that had Freddie Roach been in the camp of Amir, I mean, let's take a look at some old footage here. I mean, let's just take a look, see, okay, when Amir Khan, right, was sparring for Danny Garcia. I mean, if you take a look, see, where is Freddie Roach here? His trainer wasn't around. He was fighting very, very aggressive, extremely aggressive, and I mean, let's just take a quick glance here. Just take a look at the way Amir Khan's fighting. It's ridiculous, and he shouldn't be boxing like this. And look, as you can see, his fighting style, right, is just all over. I mean, he's going to wars with guys, and I believe, right, prior to his fight with Danny Garcia, I mean, look, he's getting counterpunched left, right, and centre here, and I mean, look, he's standing toe to toe against this guy. So, what were you expecting, to happen when he faces Danny Garcia? I mean, and if I was in his team there with him, I'd have highlighted this straight away as to why are you fighting like this. You should be on the back foot, not getting to walls, not getting counterpunched. I mean, that right hand there should just be up. That chin should be tucked next to that shoulder. I mean, all these guys, I mean, they don't care about Amir Khan. Nobody cares about him, right? They don't care about punches to the head. They don't care about boxers and how they're going to be suffering brain damage later on in their careers. And brain damage happens right here in the gym. This is where brain damage happens. And people don't care. I mean, look, there's Freddie Roach. I mean, what's Freddie Roach saying about this? If Freddie's there, but I mean, he's not saying anything. And for a lot of this camp, Freddie Roach wasn't there. And there was another sparring footage which I've seen of Khan, where Freddie Roach wasn't even in the camp. And it's crazy, because why is Khan fighting like this when he's a boxer? You've got good legs, good feet. Use them, and he should have been taught this from day one, instead of going to wars and things of that nature. And this is the thing, right, with Amir, right? I feel like he needs a shake up in his camp. I think it's healthy to change things around, and I think that he should stay with the same trainer. But I mean, at the end of the day, right, it's all about his strength and conditioning as well. I mean, in terms of his in terms of his boxing, I don't see where he's going to improve now. To be honest with you, at this point in his career, I don't think he's going to improve in terms of his boxing IQ. I think as good as he's going to get. You're going to get caught in boxing, and at the end of the day, if you can't take the big whacker, you can't take it. But I mean, Khan hasn't got a totally, really bad chin. This is interesting. Tony Brady retweeted, putting the kids and Amir Khan through the paces, plans Tony Brady. What do you think? I mean, if Amir gets back with Tony Brady, brilliant. I'm really supportive of this. I really hope he gets back with Tony Brady because, I mean, this August of this year, I think so. It looks like it. Yeah, it is. So, I mean, if he's, I mean, meet the champs and that, Tony Brady's back with Andre Ward. Great athlete. Okay, no. So, as you can see, right, Tony Brady, I mean, he was the guy for Khan. I mean, he had Khan in superb shape, hitting hard, hitting fast. And at the end of the day, right, since Khan's left Tony Brady, Khan for Chris Algieri, where he looked rubbish. I mean, this is it right here, right? Tony Brady, a throwback to the great shape Tony Brady had Amir Khan in these fights. Hope you see him again soon. When he moved up to welterweight, Tony Brady was the key person, right? And he got Amir Khan in bad boy shape. And I mean, you know what? And here's the thing. This is Taz, right? This is Amir's uncle. That's his beautiful daughter. Amir needs to stay around his family, right? He shouldn't abandon his family. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is he needs to choose his fights selectively. His team, he needs people who know a bit more about boxing. In terms of the business side, you know, you can't really knock what they're doing. But in terms of boxing and legacy, because at the end of the day, Amir's got to retire. He's got to make money. He's got to look after his family. He needs to, and the most important thing is that Amir has his faculties intact, that his brain isn't severely damaged. And with all the shots that Amir's been taking, there will be signs of a brain damage, God forbid, but there will be signs of brain damage there in the future if there isn't already. And you know, there's no need for that. I mean, he's a good boxer. He's strong. He's going down to welterweight. He's a good fighter. Okay, I understand he hasn't got the best chin in the world, but I mean, he did take shots off Marcus Maidana. So for me, Amir has a good chance to really establish himself in the 147 division. I mean, these people, like these fighters who are in this division, like we've got Keith Thurman, who's #1 top dog of the division at the moment, right? Thurman's a big puncher, but I mean, he can be outboxed, right? I mean, he's shown vulnerabilities, right? I mean, he does carry that big whack, and you would expect him to land it on Khan at some point in the fight. But Thurman's not Canelo Alvarez. He doesn't punch as hard as Canelo, but he punches pretty damn hard. And I'll tell you right now, if he catches Khan, it might not be lights out, but he'll definitely wobble Khan and hurt Khan. And this is an opponent you should stay away from. You've got Errol Spence. I mean, because Khan's been in there against the big punchers, and I think now it's time to selectively select his fights properly, make some good fights. You know, don't fight bums, don't fight just waste man opponents, right? Who you know you can write off, right? He needs to fight A-level fighters, right? I mean, this is the guy, #1 guy with the whole of the welterweight division needs to stay away from. Errol the Truth Spence. Errol Spence, right? He's the dangerous killer guy, and you know, Khan's got guts and he'll fight like the most dangerous opponent in the division. But I mean, this guy's high risk, low reward. This guy is not the guy you want to be facing. This is the guy you want to stay away from. The other opponent is obviously Kell Brook. I mean, with Kell Brook, right, with Kell Brook, he's always going to have... That fight's always going to be there for Khan. And I think, I mean, it'd be a good fight to make next, because at the end of the day, Kell Brook, Amir Khan... look at these man's views in my pictures. Anyway, right. So, like I was saying, yeah, Kell Brook's a huge fight because Khan's coming off a loss against Canelo at 155. Kell Brook's coming off a loss against Triple G at 160. So, you know, it does make sense to make this fight, right, with Kell Brook. But I mean, where would it be? It can't be for the 147 title because Errol Spence is mandatory. So would Kell Brook vacate? I mean, Kell Brook probably would vacate for the Khan fight, right? I don't think the IBF would do anything for Kell Brook, right? Even if it is a huge fight against Khan, they're not gonna skip out on what's his name, on Errol Spence. So for me, Kell Brook, Amir Khan, right? That's just I don't think that's happening next. Okay, and I don't even think it's any other reason. I just think that why for what? I mean, the timing's not perfect right now. I think it's good. The timing's not perfect, And to be honest, I think Kell Brook is it's just not. I don't think Kell Brook's the right fight for Khan. If I was in Khan's camp, I wouldn't advise him to take Kell Brook because, truth, I think Kell Brook would knock Amir Khan out. He hits too hard, he's too big, too strong. Amir Khan's vulnerable right now because he's coming off a devastating knockout loss. Kell Brook didn't get knocked out. Kell Brook's stock went up, Khan's went down with the Canelo fight. Irrespective of how each other were doing, like, at the end of the day, Kell Brook didn't get flat put out to sleep. Khan did. Kell Brook hurt Triple G with the uppercut or stunned him at the very least. I mean, Triple G fans are just crazy, right? They're not ever gonna admit anything, right? But to me, Kell Brook really did damage Triple G and he stunned him. But at the end of the day, Triple G is Triple G, and he destructed Kell Brook at the end of the day. But for me, I don't think this is a good fight for Khan right now. It's money, but I mean, you've got money. What are you fighting for now? Are you fighting for money? Are you fighting to cash out? Are you fighting for health, legacy, and to cement your place in boxing? You know, why you laced up the gloves many years ago. And I think Khan needs to go back to loving the sport of boxing. I felt he had the right mentality going into the Canelo fight, where he had love for the sport, and that's what Khan really needs to do. He needs to gather that love for the sport, and on top of that, his hands just broke up, so he needs a warm-up fight, right? And Kell Brook, he ain't no warm-up fight. There's talk about Lamont Peterson. Nah, not really. I don't think that's a good fight next. I mean, so who could... I mean, Khan's got a pass right to fight whoever he wants next, because he just come off a fight against Saul Alvarez, right? So, coming off against Alvarez, you could take a tune-up fight off a hand surgery, and I think a tune-up fight would make sense. And I don't think Peterson's a good tune-up, but I mean, I think Khan will win this fight. But with your hand, I mean, he could test his hand out in sparring, but I mean, if his hand breaks up in the fight, I mean, he's in trouble, right? And he doesn't really. And this is a fight you could tell because Khan's taken a loss to Peterson as well. So now this is stylistically a smart matchup to make. It's not a stupid fight at 155 pounds. It's not something that he can't win. Could outbox this guy, and it's a decent fight as well. He's not fighting a bum. So this, like right here, right, is a good fight to make Lamont Peterson. I mean, eventually he's gonna need to. What is that on his shoulder, right? At the end of the day, right, Khan's gonna need to fight top level opponents, right? And eventually the Danny Garcia fight is gonna have to come. Personally, I wouldn't throw him in there with Danny Garcia, but I would get him in the ring for January. I would not leave it so long, even if his hand is a bit broke up. Get him in there against a low puncher, a bum, a warm-up, easy fight, right? Get him in there against, let's take a look at the rankings, yeah? Let's just see who we've got at welterweight. Carlos Molina, where the hell's he come from? Rematch Carlos Molina? Nah, I'm joking. But look, man, you've got Rios, nah, Saddam Ali, nah. I mean, Khan's gonna want to fight in the UK most likely, right? So why not fight someone like, I don't know, Bradley Ski, okay? Or fight a, you know, for a warm-up fight. I don't know, who could he fight? Is this up to date, these rankings? I don't know. There's a few fights, so get someone to move up for light. Who's there on light welter? I don't know, man. I think Peterson's a good fight, but I mean, I think he needs to fight a UK fighter, and I think Bradley Skeet's there, so why not make a fight against Bradley Skeet or fight, what's his name, who Kell Brook knocked out? I forget his name, but I mean, Khan needs a warm-up fight, so whichever it is, it doesn't really make a difference, but after the warm-up fight, I think it needs to be Danny Garcia. I think as a next fight, Lamont Peterson would be huge in the UK, and that's something, maybe I would advocate that. I think that's a decent fight for him. You know, just box Peterson on the back foot. Peterson can come forward and be aggressive, etc. But, I mean, Lamont Peterson in his last fight, right, he didn't look too good. And that's the thing. Lamont Peterson's not on a roll. It wouldn't be a warm-up, so to speak, but with Khan coming off his surgery, I think it's a good fight for him. I don't think it's too hard. I don't think it's no Danny Garcia fight. Danny Garcia stylistically is a lot worse for Khan than Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson was on gear as well. So leave your comments in the section below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe as always. Amir Khan, he needs to get back with Tony Brady, like I've been saying. He needs to get in that ring with Danny Garcia next year for that 147 title. But by the time Khan gets in there with Danny Garcia, what if Danny Garcia don't have the title? What if it's Keith Thurman who has the title? Then what's going to happen? you know. So maybe he should be thinking about taking this man right here and taking the titles off him early, quick, you know. Fight Danny Swift Garcia, who I think is a dangerous fight for Khan. But, you know, like I says, it's that sort of fight where high risk, high reward. Okay, and it'll be a big fight. This could be on pay-per-view. This rematch here with Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is the man right now in boxing. I mean, not in boxing, but I mean at the 140/147 division, he's still the man. He's hated, but he's still got the WBC. He's got the elite title, the best title that you can have, and that's the WBC belt. So for me, Danny Garcia, let me tell you,